mind me, I'm just eating.
Welcome to the show where he chews. We just watch Nate chew.
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Noah. And welcome to Nonsense with Nate and Noah, a series where we talk about, or I should say a daily series. We're on day 3. Consistency, claps all around, applause. Okay. Where we talk about whatever we want, whatever we're feeling, whatever's on our mind. And today, I thought we would talk a bit about branding yourself on social media, branding yourself as a celebrity. I get a lot of questions about branding, and I thought it'd just be like an interesting topic to discuss. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to hear more about that. And if you don't want to watch Nate chew anymore.
Hey. Don't make it about me.
It's all about you.
It's gonna be my channel.
It's all about you, baby. You're
People
not
are gonna like it.
stealing my YouTube channel.
No, that's gonna be my channel.
Absolutely. Just chewing on my channel.
Speaking about branding, it's my brand.
Speaking of branding.
Chewing.
Chewing. Chewing's your brand. So I don't know. I've been kind of feeling like stuck lately, career-wise. Or not, I don't know how to explain it, but I've been kind of like feeling like I've been wanting to like rebrand in a way. I've been doing what I've been doing for like, oh my god, so long now. I feel like 6 years more, I don't know. And I've kind of had like the same vibe and look, and I just feel like I'm like in a way growing out of it. But see, this is where I wanted to talk about it, because where does branding become inauthentic, and then is inauthenticity is being inauthentic necessarily a bad thing if you're like using it to like make money? And then like how long can someone even like be inauthentic for? Like I feel like that can get exhausting.
I think there's a huge risk of the inauthentic you becoming what everybody expects, and then you're stuck acting forever, which is unfortunate.
So Nate and I were scrolling on Bigo, and we found this Bigo host that was playing up his, I don't want to use the word ugly, but he knew he was unattractive. He knew he was like crazy looking. I don't know what his deal is, but yeah, and he was playing it up.
It's very interesting
by putting in fake teeth and doing that whole like shock culture thing. Like he had a bunch of people in his room, and
a lot of beans.
He had a lot of beans. But how do you feel about people like that? Like the shock culture, like branding yourself as like someone like that. Like that is just doing it to like get that type of like attention.
I personally don't like it. I feel like it's it leads you down a weird path when you start making it about shock, because your shock stops shocking eventually, and you have to find a new shock, and then that chasing shock value is like detrimental to being a good person.
So what is your advice for, because I get a lot of people where I'm like, oh, like I'll tell you in a second, but like I get a lot of people that are like, I don't know how to brand myself. I don't know, like, because in my video that I did about branding, I talk about sitting down and thinking about what are some like main key things that you like hobbies, interests, like obsessions, like that kind of thing. And can you put that into your brand to make it more authentic? Can that be your brand? So for instance, I would say my brand is definitely like 90s baby, Furbies, colorful, rainbow, pink, like that kind of stuff. And I still enjoy that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just starting to like feel like, is that making me look immature? Like it's been like a long time I've had the same thing. As much as I still like those things, it's not like I'm gonna throw them away. But it's like if I classed up my image a bit, went from like this Furby Lovin' Bay to like maybe something that's a little more like mainstream looking, would that bring in higher paying customers? And then what would you say for someone that's like, well, I don't know what I like. I don't know how do I brand myself. Like I get that a lot.
If you don't know what you like, then you really should just sit down and look at other people and not steal somebody else's brand, but like there's a million people doing the same thing that you're trying to do. There's no reason you
so
can't
almost like find someone that you
look
you
at this
look up
person
to.
and say, this person does this thing cool. Okay, go to the next person. This person does this thing cool. Go to the next person. You
But
should
isn't
never
that
be
inauthentic?
stealing everything. Well, if you can find something that you enjoy or you like the idea of in that person, what they're doing, and you can take that from them, it's really inauthentic unless you're just taking something that you don't relate to at all and doing it.
But what if it like backfires? Like we were just like talking earlier about like 50 Cent, and like he branded himself. I mean, he's just a straight up. But he was branding himself as like this like hardcore gangster drug dealer dude.
He's like a Grand Theft Auto character.
Yeah,
That's
but I feel like he did that. I feel like he was like, my life's kind of boring. Like I want to like. You know what I mean? Like, what I live in Queens, like, with my grandma. Like, I always thought that gang culture and stuff was cool. Like, and he made that his brand when he became a rapper. And then obviously that ended up biting him in the butt.
I mean, after he made millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, but now people just see him as, like, I feel like a lot of people see him as a joke.
Yeah,
like,
but do you
personally
care?
see him as a joke.
If you are sitting on $100 million, do you give a shit if people see you as a joke?
That's my point. So if you're making money, if you're being inauthentic, you just do it.
There's a certain, like, slyness to it. If you're going to be inauthentic and then get successful and then be like, you know, go back to being how you were, it's almost like you pulled one over on everybody.
Or like Tekashi.
It's not like...
He's like Danny the deli
you're
clerk.
Being inauthentic.
We call Tekashi
It's
Danny
like
the deli clerk
Danny
because
the deli clerk.
he worked at a deli.
Yeah. He was known as Danny the deli clerk. That's fantastic.
So what about Danny the deli clerk? He went from Danny the deli clerk to rainbow-haired snitching.
That guy's got problems.
Oh no, he has serious problems, but he's inauthentic as hell.
I don't think he's inauthentic as much as he is just out of his mind or something.
I don't know though. He seems very strategic in a weird way.
He reminds me of my mom's manipulativeness, honestly. You see an opening and you just take it and be whatever you have to be to stay in that opening.
But my point is, what he's doing, what he looks like, what he's saying is not the real Danny the deli clerk.
Well, it is, because he's so screwed up that he's able to commit to such an extent where he's... So I'm sure if you hang out with him behind closed doors, he's not like Danny the deli clerk. He's still like how he's acting.
I don't.
I think he probably is. I think he's so deep in character that he probably doesn't come out of it.
Oh, weird. I have the opposite opinion. I feel like behind closed doors, he's like...
I don't think you can maintain
like
that if you're going in and out of it. The level of ridiculousness that he's maintaining currently is like, you have to commit, bro. That's a commitment. And for what?
So how do you find your brand authentically?
How do you find it?
If you don't want to be inauthentic and you don't want... Like, I do kind of get what, like, Nate's saying, where, like, yeah, like... Definitely look at other people around you that you admire and see if you can, like, not take things from them, but, like, you know what I mean?
You really
like,
are.
use that.
If you don't have anything yourself, you're taking ideas or taking influence from these people. You're not stealing their whole... There's a difference between copying somebody and then taking their idea and creating, and, you know, taking multiple ideas and creating your own thing. Like, you're not just stealing something, you're using other people's influences to make your own thing.
Can you
because
grow?
You didn't just have your own
Can
thing
you grow out of your brand if your brand was authentic or is authentic? I don't know why I said was, but I guess I'm referring to myself.
You can change, obviously.
But I don't feel like talking, like not to just be talking about me, but like you know what I mean. Like I don't feel like I necessarily.
Well, I think that
I'm not like I don't feel like I'm not that person anymore.
It happens when your brand, instead of becoming you, becomes a business. If you had another thing, another income, another something to support you, and you didn't need to continue to keep growing, you could maintain being more and more authentic. But if you are now a business and you need to keep reaching out to bigger and bigger fan bases to keep yourself growing, there starts to be some inauthenticness because you're not a person anymore. You're a brand. A brand, yeah. You're a growing brand, and sometimes you need to do different shit to pull different people in to keep that brand growing.
Yeah, like I don't feel like I'm ever gonna change my personality. I think I'll always be goofy and like the way that I am, you know what I mean? But I was thinking more like visually changing my brand and like how that all works. And then will that come off as like fake to like other people? Like I don't want that to happen either because I'm not being fake necessarily.
It's interesting when people would say you were fake because people don't know who the fuck you are in the first place to know what's fake and what's not. They're just judging. by their own standards. So
Yeah.
that's, its own thing. How can someone really call you, fake if they have no idea who you are? They don't know any of your life experience or what you like or anything. They're just calling it how they see it, and through what glasses are they really seeing anything?
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been like going through my head lately, like thinking about like what my next step is gonna be. Like I plan on being in this industry, if not forever, for at least a really long time, and it's kind of just like, where do I go next? Like we're on to almost. I feel like I've almost been doing this for 10 years, but I think it's only been like 6.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, what? I don't know. And then is what I'm seeing in my head just like me being like delusional in a sense of just like almost like the grass is greener, like.
No, I don't think so. Because essentially, if you feel like you've reached a plateau and you've got your followers and fan base and that's not organically growing anymore, then it's not unrealistic to go, okay, who's my next target audience?
Yeah, like the
Who else can
internet
I bring into
changes.
there?
Trends change. People are looking at it for certain thing. I feel like what I put out and stuff like that was popular like 4 years ago. And I feel like now that like I'm in this space where I'm like, I really do see an upswing, especially when it comes to like OnlyFans people and like people in the adult industry in general, like classing it up a lot. Like I do see, because I feel like it's become such an oversaturated market in general. Like everyone pretty much is taking it on, which is awesome, honestly. Like normalize the hell out of it. Let's do this. But like I'm seeing because it's so normalized now, we have more eyes on us, and it's like people are looking, so people are trying to like make it look fancy and like, you know what I mean, like that type of thing. But then I also still see girls, but I guess they're more of like the game. I mean, I'm a gamer girl, but like I don't necessarily want to be the gamer girl aesthetic as much as I do game and stuff like that. I don't see myself. I just feel like that would almost me be being fake, you know what I mean? Because I'm not. That's the personality that I'm kind of like. I'm not the girl who's gonna sit there with like cat headphones and be like Belle Delphine. Nothing's wrong with that, but like that's just not who I am.
I think.
So it's like I can't do that, but I feel like that is
totally
what.
Could, but you don't need to be Belle Delphine. You can just game the way you are, and it wouldn't make a difference.
Like my thing was I was thinking about like taking down some
brand
of the pink
to
stuff,
copy that.
putting my stuffed animals away, and like I don't know, maybe getting like a more like neutral color blanket instead of like a bright pink blanket, and kind of just like getting prettier lights, and just maybe wearing like more black and stockings, and like kind of just glamming it up a bit. I was even thinking about like just like as much as I love the pink right now, and I was thinking about keeping it just going back to like a natural hair color, because I know a lot of people like natural hair, like. So I don't know. It's just been like on my mind, and I would love to know. I'd love to know your opinion about it, but I'd love to know your opinion about it. I don't know how I feel. And I also like I do feel weird because like I said, I do have that like video about branding, and I do have people asking me how to brand. And I feel like this is everything. Like I feel like it's easier to do stuff for some other people. Like
it's weird too because it's two different things. Like you can branch out and reach out to different platforms and try and reach different fan bases without rebranding your personal style. You can keep doing other things and testing different waters without rebranding you. It's almost like if you're staying in the same platform and you've plateaued, then rebranding you or rebranding your background and whatever else makes sense. But if you're interested in doing other shit, you don't necessarily have to rebrand yourself first. Like you can continue with your regular brand and keep branching out and doing Twitch or doing different streaming services.
Yeah, see,
like
no,
there's
I
a
can't.
growth, and then there's a retargeting the same thing, but
I feel like I'm at the point though where like I've been okay. So like we were saying before about like the taking in the first video about OnlyFans about like taking followers with you and how you're losing some along the way. I'm trying to like prevent that right now because I feel like I have been doing that for almost like 4 years, and I feel like I did lose a lot of like people still come to me this day and they're like, "Are you still in the adult industry?" And I'm just like, that almost makes me like sad. Like, yeah, I'm still here. Like, how do you not know
I'm
that?
still here.
You know what I mean? Like, so it makes it like that's I needed to condense. So I decided I picked my platforms, and like I'm on those platforms now, and I want to make those platforms work, and I feel like I condensed it. But now it's like, how do I market, brand, whatever, myself on these said things? Do I change? Do I stay the same? Like, what are people exactly looking for? And then doesn't matter. Should I be doing what people are looking for, or should I be myself? I feel like that's a very split opinion. And that's where, like, my head is split.
It's really weird. I feel like partially your personality fits so well into being something like a gamer girl or streamer in that sense, more than it fits into being in the adult industry. So I feel like you having to maintain your career and can maintain hours camming and doing all that stuff is kind of now keeping you from being able to branch out and
That's
to do other
true,
things.
too.
If you were able to sit on Twitch for as long as you could sit on cam and know that you were still going to have money, and
Yeah, then I actually might be like that gamer girl, Twitch girl,
yeah,
Belle
I think
Delphine.
you'd be able to. I don't think you'd be a Belle Delphine.
I don't think I'd be Belle Delphine,
I feel
but
like
you
could
know.
just be you, and it fits perfectly into being a gamer girl. Like, that's just something you've always done. Like, we were always gamers together.
So then if I'm going to like embrace that more and push that more, now it's like the whole thing where I still feel a bit like outdated. So it's like, should I get some neon lights in the background? Like, should I change up and make my room look more like the girls that like are on Twitch? Like, I just don't know what's gonna bring in like those new people, and what's gonna also bring in money. Like,
you're
okay,
your own thing, and you're not bored. Like, no one's seen you before on that platform, so people aren't expecting you're something different than what everybody else is doing. Then that's fine.
I have a
your
controversial twist.
Oh,
Like,
God.
I know there's some people who are gonna be like mad at this, but at the same time, it's really the truth when you come down to it, when you're thinking about yourself as a business. Okay, so if you're a gamer girl, that's the brand that you're going for. You pink hair, you got blue hair, you got neon lights, you're stuffed animals, SpongeBob. Like, are you going to be attracting an audience that's going to be like throwing you a lot of money, or should your focal audience be on maybe like the older crowd? And then does the older crowd like pink hair and stuffed animals and stuff?
I would say that there's a huge difference, because in the camming community, the older crowd tends to be the bigger spenders because they have older money and they have savings and whatever else. But when you're on Twitch, I don't think it matters.
I was talking to
people just seem to support you.
One of my favorite fans and friend. He's honestly one of my really good friends, but I was talking to him about it, and he said something along the lines where he was like, because I was like, oh my god, cam is so slow, and he was just like, it's okay. He was like, but he's like, it's probably because everyone's stimulus check is drying up, like everyone's unemployment is going away. And I was like, like, not to sound really mean, but like, do I want an audience that's made up of mostly people that are using unemployment and stuff like that, or do I want to now be pushing myself towards people that like they don't even not even fazed by what's going on?
Idea to think about is, how much time do you really spend a day being horny enough that you're on an adult service? How long do you really stay like that versus how long are you just bored and you're not trying to do adult things? Whereas, like, people will sit on Twitch for 2 or 3 hours and just watch somebody stream. I think that being bored and wanting to watch something to do occupies a much larger part of people's days than them actually being horny.
So weird. Like, we can't exactly do this right now because, like, I don't necessarily have that much savings right now. But, like, would maybe the answer to my question be, like, maybe camming, like, a few times a month and then focusing my energy on stuff like Bigo and Twitch and not being on MFC as much anymore?
See, I would say yeah, but it's not a seamless switch. It's really like not. You have to build up enough momentum to be able to throw the dice. Cause
we would have to get Bigo like working for a bit and like be making some of like the upper tiers so I can put some money away so I can make that switch. But like, is that something that maybe I should look into? Like,
I think definitely. I just feel like it fits your personality better.
Because I like cam, but I feel like I only really truly like it, and this is going to sound stupid, but it's obvious in a way, but like I only like it when it's like people are like on and like interacting with me, and I spend a lot of time just bored.
Twitch is very the opposite. When you have a Twitch stream and it's going, that chat is just blowing up. Like, when you're on cam and it's really going, the chat's blowing up, but it's, not kind of nonsense. Like, there's shit going on, but it's like...
I know a Twitch streamer that also is on MFC, and
But-
like, now that we said, I'm thinking about like hitting her up and seeing if she would
There's more of a
like,
community, I feel
help
like,
me.
in those places than there is in, like, a place like MFC. Like, there might be an MFC community, but there's not... The people don't have as many connections to each other, where people, like, on Twitch will actively meet other people in that stream and then go hang out with those people in party chats, and they become friends, and they're friends with you, and they're like, oh, let me help you run Discords, and like, oh, let me help you do fan art, let me help you, and people just want to help, people want their own exposure. Your fans are also working to be something. When you're on cam, you have people that are just there to watch, people that are just there to tip. They have no interest in going anywhere in cam. They're
That's
not,
true.
they don't have that level of interest, but in something like Twitch, the population consists of people who are also trying to do their own thing, and they're supporting you, and they want to just help you and get themselves out there, or they just want to be an admin, and it feels good to be an admin in the chat, and
Yeah.
there's so much going on that being an admin matters. Like, if you're an admin on MSC, dude, like, half the time you're probably going to be sitting there, like,
I don't even have an
moderating,
admin on there,
like, what
'cause
are you
there's
even
no
moderating?
Point. Like, I'll just, like,
Yeah.
exactly, like, I'll just, like,
one dude comes in and trolls,
Yeah, exactly.
ban,
Just-
comes back,
I can do that. I
ban,
don't need an admin
like,
for
you know.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's much more hectic and active. The people are much
And,
more
like,
active
yeah,
in that
I never
community.
thought about. So, like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be quitting camp, but maybe camming like just on the weekends.
And it
or,
also
like, just
plays
on,
into
like,
a
like,
factor where
narrowing it
how many
down.
times you're on cam and you can't do other things because you have to give these people your attention, and no one wants you to be distracted or on your phone or doing other things, whereas on Twitch it's much more real because you're not acting not bored. You're just actively doing shit.
Yeah, and then
Where on cam, you're constantly having to
what's
act
really
like,
cool
wow,
about
I want
what's
to be
really
here.
cool about like Twitch too is like I could be like watching YouTube videos,
Yes.
editing,
You're doing
YouTube
yoga,
videos.
playing Twister.
doing anything.
You can do
like,
anything on there.
You're right.
Singing, cleaning your fucking
Damn.
kitchen and being there, and
Oh
people
my God,
are
am I
still
gonna quit camp?
wanting to actively interact with you. I feel like cam is more of a, like you said, it's almost like
I also
you
feel like cam was
have
more
a big enough
popular
adult fan base
a few years ago.
in something else. Yeah, it was more popular.
And now
and
it's like people
did
are
used to
doing
chill
other
in there
things.
and
Yeah.
chill. And then it started to slowly become people only chilled in like the top 10 rooms, and then the top 5 rooms, and then there's like 3 rooms that are popping, and then like, you know, it just became very weird and followery in the sense of how people spread themselves amongst the streams.
I remember, like, it's so different now. I remember when I first started camming, and we went on My Free Cams, and Sabrina Nelly was streaming, and she had, like, thousands of people in her room, and everyone was talking to her, and I remember looking at her, and I was like, damn, I want that. Like, that's so cool. And I think there are a lot of girls from, like, my time when they started around when I did felt the same way. Like, I feel like Sabrina was a big draw-in because they were noticing, like, how, like, active it could
everybody
be.
was, yeah.
And the world is not like that anymore. And then you have, like, Sabrina doesn't even cam anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, she left. Like, I think Lydia just left camming. Like,
it's good if you start out. I feel like there's a period of time for a couple years where you really can capitalize on your momentum and keep growing and growing and growing this follower base, but I feel like it's very one-dimensional, and that's why it becomes so intensive where you're trying to take pictures here, you're taking pictures there, because the only interaction you're having with people is sitting in a room. So you now have to make your life so interesting when you're not in the room that sitting in the room now takes over your entire day, because you're actively trying to get this image out to people of all these things that you're doing,
no,
because
right.
you're not
and
actively
it can be, like,
sharing
kinda,
what
like,
you're doing.
soul sucking in a
Yeah,
way.
it is.
Yeah.
Because you're chasing.
It's not the same. It's just
Yeah,
not
no.
the same anymore. Like, when I first started, like, I could just be, like, wiggling around and, like, making little tips and stuff. And now guys are... I literally get people, like, at least, like, 4 people a week ask me to change my tip minimum to be lower than $1. They're like, what? They're like, literally people going, if you lowered your tip minimum, or if you turned off your tip minimum, I would tip you more. How does that make sense? Because I'm literally
It's like,
asking for $1.
If you have a
I don't need your
personality
nickels.
and you know you're likable and you know that you have a brand, but you feel stifled by what you're doing, there's nothing wrong with, I almost feel like, getting almost a real job, like a real active going to work every day job, camming on the side and trying to save enough money to really just give yourself a chance at something else. Work for a couple months, save that money up, and then
Yeah, that
just
sounds
cold
great, but
turkey,
it's so hard to find jobs.
jump into something like Twitch or jump into something like YouTube and just put out a ton of content.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, because
saturate for a minute and
if
then
we're
go back and get a different job or something and just keep giving yourself chances.
Yeah, but we have to be real. If we're being real, and this is me too, but I feel like a lot of people start like camming and OnlyFans and stuff because they're not the type of people that can work a 9 to 5. Me, with my like mental illness, with my autism and everything, being in certain environments can get very like overwhelming, can like really defeat me. For instance, like if I'm having a really, really bad depressive day, like, all right, I don't have health insurance, so I can't get a therapist. I can't get maybe like medication if I need medication to help me through my depression in times like that. So no, you're there, you help me sometimes. Like, I get so depressed that I can't even come out of bed. I can't hold a job if that is me. Like, you know what I mean? Or like, what happens when I'm in a situation where like there's a ton of people, or like, I don't know, like I don't know what job I would work, but I'm saying like because of the things that I have, I am not somebody that can hold down, I feel like, a normal job. I've tried and it's been really hard for me to do that. I've worked in a restaurant, I worked as a makeup artist, I've worked in a manager in a strip club. Like, I've done so many different things, and it's like, yeah, they're all fine, but like at the same time, it's like a lot of those jobs I quit because like I couldn't handle it, and that's why I think I've been able to stay with camming and stuff for so long, because
there's a lot
like
of upside to it.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are like that. Like, they're disabled, or they're sick, or they're I don't know, they have the same problem, like anxiety, depression, like the things, and they're just like, and they find cam and they're able to stay home and relax.
It sets you up to eat you as well if you have those issues, because
it really does.
You're having a depressed day. Go sit down and stare at yourself for 2 hours in silence and be happy and not be falling deeper down a depressive hole.
And I've seen
you really feel
I've seen a lot of cam models just go on no matter what, and they're crying, or they're like whatever, and I'm just I can't do that.
That's why, again, something like Twitch, where you have an active distraction, even if it's not going well and people aren't in your stream, it's not eating you as badly and as directly as it is when you're camming.
That's another branding thing, though. Like, I have friends that are like, I don't know how to explain it. They're just like, they just turn on the camera, whatever's going on in their day is like what we're seeing on cam. Like, they're no makeup, they had a breakup, they're crying, they're eating, they're scratching their butt, they're picking their nose, they don't care, and their fans love that. And I'm not bashing that, that's fine. Yeah, that's but when I branded myself, and still my brand to this day is like, I'm a little ray of sunshine. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to see Noah cry. Like, I feel like that would make my fans so confused. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, they come to my room because they want to smile. They want to listen to Disney music. They want to dance around. They want to be silly. They want to see me be silly. And if I'm not, if I don't have that energy, they're confused. Into
consideration. Because if you brand yourself with something like that,
I didn't do it on purpose, but that's what ended up happening.
Every day when you get on, you have to sit there and you have to get prepared.
You have to be fake as hell sometimes.
To be extremely, you have to get ready and take 2 hours to get ready, where that other person can literally just, their brand has allowed them to now just pop on camera.
I didn't realize that I did that to myself.
Go right to doing something, whereas someone who's branded themselves the other way now is sinking 2 hours into work before they get to work. And then if their day is broken up and they're doing multiple streams, now they're sleeping and having to redo that work to get ready again and go back on cam.
Exactly.
And that now is contributing to all your other shit. So
no, it really
now
is.
You put 4 hours in one day into getting ready to go to work. You have to put in hours at work, and now if it's not going well, you've put 100%. All this effort into something that's not.
And then I honestly feel like, well, this goes with all streaming though, Bigo, Twitch, anywhere, that like if your vibe isn't right, people are just not. Like, you can smile all you want, but if you're having a bad time, they can see right through it. And I found that happens a lot, like on cam too, where like I'll be like, oh guys, I'm just having like a rough day today, and I'll just be trying to listen to music, but like obviously because I'm having that rough day, because I'm going through that, subconsciously like I am a little bit more quiet, or a little bit more, and then people are like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to talk about this. Like, I just want you to pay me, and I want to do my thing, and I don't want to think about this. I want to be tipped to twerk. Like, stop making me think about it. And then everyone's asking me what's wrong, and then I feel like I don't want to be online anymore because I don't want to talk about it, and it's just making me sad. I've literally gone on like that and been kind of fine, like been able to fake it, and then had someone like Diego or somebody message me and be like, "Are you okay?" Because like there you go, there's someone that knows me very well that like can see right through it, and then I'm just I start to tell him, and then I'm like sitting there feeling like I'm about to cry or something, and then I'm like I can't be online anymore. So that's definitely an issue too. But no, it's interesting. Like like I said, I feel like it's a little dramatic to be like, oh, I'm gonna quit camming. And again, if I were to leave, it would be in a few months. I would still be. I would probably get past the holidays.
I don't think there's any reason to stop.
No, but like but
there's no reason to stop.
Where does that fit in my schedule right now?
I think
I would have to stop part of it.
Exactly.
Eventually,
that's where it becomes an issue. But like you were saying, if you're doing it a couple times a week or a couple times a month, it'd be different.
Yeah, like what if I like was on Twitch like okay, what if I did like on cam I was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then like do Twitch like all the other days in between along with Bigo, and then did like I don't know, like maybe did like a night shift on Twitch on Fridays or something like that. Did a morning shift on Fridays. Like I feel like that might actually work, but again, I don't have savings, so I can't really start yet. But like, I mean, that's interesting. I didn't know this conversation was going to turn into that.
So I feel like another thing you have to look at, and when it comes to streaming other things like that, if you already have a brand and you already have some following and you're already used to doing the whole streaming thing, when you look at something like Twitch, the way the streams are broken up is in a way that is much more beneficial to you being seen by people than cam. When people go onto a cam site, they have the homepage, they can click like a tag or something, and it just doesn't seem like you go on Twitch, you know what you're gonna watch. You're like, I'm gonna watch people play Elder Scrolls today, or I'm gonna watch people play Destiny, and you're gonna type in that thing, and then you might maybe make the selection of, oh, I want to see people play on PlayStation because
I heard like
play
Just
on
Chat
PlayStation.
though is like really big on Twitch right now.
Those options are much more actively in a person's
I'm trying to figure out that girl's name.
Brain. Like you're much more likely to go on there and be selective about what you're doing, which will then in turn make the selection much smaller. So now I'm PlayStation 4 Destiny. There's only 30 people online on the whole site. Much more easy to be found that way than being on a campsite.
No,
where you're at the bottom of the fucking page and people aren't going past homepage. They're just going to the homepage and looking. It's just
she tagged us all together.
The accessibility and the want to access specific things on those sites is much greater than it is on something like a campsite for some reason.
I can't find it right now. She tagged us all together. One of the girls I was on the XBiz panel with is like a Twitch streamer, and she's super nice, and she was like, hey, if anyone like wants to talk about Twitch, like hit me up. Now of course I can't find her. I can probably ask Leah though.
The whole raid structure as well on something like Twitch. If you were camming and you're, I'm gonna get offline, you can't raid your friend's cam. You can't send everyone in your room to that person's cam right now.
No,
but that's something you can
that's
do on
so
Twitch.
true. And even on Bigo, like for instance, like if I was having like a really bad stream and like Leah had some extra beans, she can drop like it's called like a trifephony or something weird. I don't know, but it like brings up the heat rate in your room like a lot, and it's like on top of that it's also 1,000
I'm offline
beans.
right now, but this is my friend, and someone comes on the channel and I'm not there, but here's my friend. Now that friend is getting exposure. You can't do that on
I can't find
MSC.
it. I don't want to look anymore.
People don't click on your room. It just says, hey, this person's offline. You can't give your friend any extra anything. Like you're not able to promote people. And it's just ridiculous.
And then wait, let's just be real.
Like
my
Twitch,
free cams when you're offline, it's like it gives you suggested models, and that algorithm is so messed up.
Yeah,
like it doesn't even make sense.
It's just, to me, it makes a mockery of what the cam industry's websites are. They're so outdated.
Oh no.
All of them. They're all so outdated.
No, Camstone is cool.
And like for the most part,
really...
I mean, there's no reason they can't run like Twitch.
That's true.
And there's no reason that they don't.
I heard the thing. I heard the
things.
whole thing with why my free cams doesn't update is because they're like our customers are just used to the system and like they don't want us to. You know what's really funny? Speaking of Bigo heat points. So for those of you who don't know, on Bigo, when you get gifted, there's this little number like above your head with like a little flame next to it, and depending on how high that number is depending on how high you are up on the heat list, which is like if you were looking for like cool ass people to watch, you go on the heat list, and like if you're high up, they're gonna find you. You're gonna get more people in your room. You're gonna make more gifts. circle of life. I was looking at that, and it's funny because I was thinking, I think in one of my, like, I don't know if it was a video, I don't know, but I was talking about cam scores on My Free Camps being so messed up, and how the fact that, like it's just so unfair. Like, if you're somebody that, like...
you had 2 bad weeks. Goodbye.
Yeah, like, now you're gonna have a really low cam score and be lower on the page. Like, my cam score is awful right now because of how slow it has been and because of the pandemic and everything going on. And it's like, so...
It doesn't actively portray
wouldn't it make more
happening.
sense to... Well, I mean, maybe for MySpace. My Free Camps to do... I said MySpace.
Bigo
For My Free Camps to do left
was a
but
cam
heat
site.
points.
That shit would clap.
Heat points.
The gambling
Why is
aspect
that not on,
and
like, everything?
man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. It would just make so much income.
Oh, it really would. Imagine if you could just, like, give tokens and get
And
tokens
gifts,
back, and then, like, heat points. But heat points would change up the page.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, like, if someone was doing really good and they're new or their cam score sucks, whatever, you can erase cam score, and then they would be at the top for a second. And then you'd still have the top girls that make a ton of tips up there because, like, they're getting tipped consistently, and that makes it go up, too. But there's also a chance that, like I just said with the trifle blah, 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 you know what I mean? That somebody can drop something in your room, and, like, bam, you're, like, next to somebody that's super, super popular, and then now you're getting more exposure. It would be so awesome.
It brings the community up.
Really,
It doesn't create such a freaking
My Free Camps
hierarchy
really needs to
that they
revamp.
create. A lot of the campsites create, like, this upper echelon, and because you're always at the top, you're always at the top of homepage, people are
you're never going to
less
fall down,
likely
and
you're
less likely to
just
scroll
there.
down the page,
There's no movement, there's no fluctuation, there's no
none.
exposure for the other people. It's just like, you know, these are the people making the most money right now, and these are the people we want at the top of the page. It's very, like I said, it's very user-based and not employee-based. They're not worried about the broadcasters
No,
as
they're
much
worried
as
about
they're
making
worried
money.
about the users. They want the users to have the easiest time possible, and they only want the top earners to be seen by the users because they feel like that's their best gamble. Those people are going to be on consistently, so they're going to make the most consistent money with those people. It's just, you know, it's not fun. It's not fun. There's no fun to that. There's no... Like, you do something like Bigo, and you're actively watching your stuff adjust as you know, with the effort.
Oh my God, no,
you're having a lot of fun.
I really
Like,
might leave because literally I'm just thinking
engaging for you as a broadcaster than something where you're just being reminded every day, hi, I'm not the fucking top guy. Look at me down there.
For real, and I'm thinking about.
in tips
I mean, you've
so
been
I
there
can
for
move.
like, if not all of them. I'm thinking about all of the streams that I've tried to do, like cosplay things or like fun things. Like no one even shows up.
You're just...
There'll be like 40 people in my room at the most. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you right now. Like,
And
yeah,
I'm sure some of
I've
your
been in the
different.
popular room list before on My Free Camps. I've been in the top 200. Like, it's not like I haven't experienced that. It's just so
previous
inconsistent.
campsites that we've worked with, that you were right at the top.
I was number one on some
you're
sites.
still number 1, number 2, number 3, and getting barely any traffic. Less traffic than you'd get in a Bigo
where, like,
room.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is where I'm, like, confused
Doesn't
and, like,
make
how to
sense.
feel anymore. Because, like, I do feel like I love this industry. I love what I do. Like, but you're right. It's not me. It's not going to be a matter of me wearing more black or rebranding myself. I can still be
Who
the
you
Noah
are,
that, like, everyone likes. Except it's just, like,
It's just...
I need to change where that is. So, like...
a little bit stifling.
And if you think about it, that's actually good for your customer base and fans, too. Because you're making yourself more enjoyable. You're putting yourself on somewhere where you can have more fun and be interactive.
Yeah, if you're not
Wow,
sexual 24/7,
never thought of
so
that.
why are you putting all your eggs into being a super...
Or why are you trying to make MFC not be sexual 24/7? Like, so many girls are on there, like, trying to treat it like Twitch and stuff. Why not just go on Twitch? You're right. Weird. Wow.
Sorry.
So, like...
I feel like I just created a disruption.
You did. You disrupted the force field. Like, I have a lot to think about now because that you're absolutely right. You really are. You're right about it. I don't, like I said, I don't think I'm ever gonna be like post a video like I'm quitting camming. Like I think I'm always gonna cam, but it's like I'm not making what I need to make from it. I'm not where I want to be from it. It's not as lucrative as it used to be. I'm losing money in some senses of the word, and it's
you're
like
not losing money as much as you're losing time that could be spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
Actively growing what you are, whereas you're not. It's almost like on cam if you peak at some point and then you don't get engaged with a million video shoots or you're not on the cover of fucking magazines forever, and you have been, but there's just, it starts to feel like, if it starts to feel like you're trying to tread water to try and stay where you were at,
That's how I
then
feel.
you need to start, there's no reason not to start branching out. It's like, you know,
You're right.
why stay with a sinking ship? You can still get shit, but that whole vibe, that feeling, you don't want to be doing something because you feel like you're chasing after what you.
Yeah, no, I would definitely. I feel like I would
pigeonholing
definitely
yourself.
make more money in the long run if I did find something like a Twitch or something, or even Bigo. I mean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then was only on cam maybe like 3 times a week. You know, like I still want to make adult content. I would never leave the industry, but it's like, I just like, dude, like everything's just so dead. I also have that whole theory of, or like theory, that's the wrong word, but the whole thought of just like, is it just because of like the virus and everything going on? Like, but no, I feel like this has been going on for a few years.
It's always been a thing.
Damn.
You have days where you just make a shit ton of money and everything's great, and there's, you know, even on those days, there's still not necessarily a shit ton of people. It's not a consistent thing.
Yeah, but to be honest, my shit ton of money, my daily big money, has gone down so much. Like, my shit ton of money used to be like $1,000 or more a day, and now honestly, it's like I'm lucky if I can make 400 like a day. Like that one day I made 700 a few months ago, like a few weeks ago.
And then a lot of your
months ago. It was in
income
May,
ends
I
up
think.
being with specific people that are very supportive and really care about
Like
you.
I haven't had like $1,000
And-
day just on cam in years.
The people that are super supportive and care about you aren't necessarily interested in being sexual with you 24/7 either.
No, you're very right.
Yeah, it becomes very one-dimensional.
And then if I condense it and like I said, do it a few times a week, my fans that are in the mood for that will be like, okay, she's on cam on Wednesdays, like I'm gonna go on there and play then. You're really
and it's important because you're trying to reach to these people to become something like that, where you're a staple in their life, and it's hard to be a staple in someone's life when you're a half hour or an hour of something. You know what I mean? Like I said, how consistently are you sexual at the same times a day? Like, I don't know. It's having a schedule on cam versus needing to jerk off. Like, what do you jerk off on a schedule? I don't think so.
I do.
You just,
It's 3
like,
o'clock.
man,
It's bath time.
You know, like it's very the industry itself in that respect is very.
I set timers in my
It's
iPhone
strange. I don't know.
when it's
very
time
strange.
to flick the bean. I'm kidding.
It's just some food for thought for everybody.
That was
I
a lot of food. I'm very stuffed. I'm gonna end the video here because like I need to go and stare at a wall for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Like I don't even know how to end this. Like my brain is kind of blown right now. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
See you guys tomorrow. Told you it's a show about where they just choose food.
BRB.
You're burping? Burp. He left me. I'm alone in front of a green screen. He left me. There's no one sitting on a stool next to me. I'm alone. I'm sad. I want him back real bad. So I'm not alone in front of this green screen. He's still not back. I'm by myself. I'm still alone, like a moldy banana on a shelf. Where did Nate go? I don't know. I see him. Are you there? I'm singing a song about you because I was lonely.